Welcome to Westchester Talk Radio, westchestertalkradio.com. I'm John Marino, and Westchester Talk Radio is produced by Shark Media, sponsored by Entergy, the Indian Point Energy Center, White Plains Hospital, Wartburg Home Health and Rehabilitative Care, Michael Labriola, Landscape Design and Construction. Their last name is the first name in landscaping, and by Durante Rentals, located all throughout the area here, tri-state area in suburban New York, in New Jersey on Route 17, new location in Hasbrook Heights, and in Connecticut too. We are joined by Mark Lungariello. Mark Lungariello, longtime Journal News, Loha.com reporter. Mark, great to be working with you again. We've worked together at places like WVOX Radio. We have been part of a number of debate panels on News 12 Hudson Valley through the years. Great to be back here with you again. Unfortunately, under circumstances, we prefer not to be doing this, but this is our virtual kind of, being shut in and doing what we have to do kind of segment here. Virtual therapy, isolation therapy is what we call it here at Westchester Talk Radio. You are the man on the scene, on the beat in Westchester. What's going on day by day since COVID-19 hit this county? Are we flattening the curve?
Some numbers are looking optimistic, John, and officials are hopeful, but it's really too early to know. I don't think we'll know for at least another couple of weeks about how these economic slowdown measures and these social distancing measures, which, by the way, we are doing right now, as you pointed out.
You're in Hastings, I'm in the Bronx, for example. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's just a matter of, it's growing exponentially, or at least it's projected to. So it'll continue to grow, but if it's not on the exponential level that people were expecting it to be, that growth will still happen, but it's going to get better. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But officials are optimistic that it's not going to spike as high or reach the apex to the height that people had thought it would.
New Rochelle was the epicenter in Westchester about a month ago now. Has the curve flattened there? At least we've heard some reports that it has, and then again, you wonder.
Yes, well, again, it's tough to know because of, like I said, when I say that they were expecting exponential growth, basically the way that something as contagious as the coronavirus is spreading is that one person has it, gives it to three people, those three people go, and so forth and so forth. So by trying to isolate people, trying to make everyone work from home and all these economic slowdown measures, the idea is it's not going to stop it. It's not going to stop it in its tracks, I should say, but it's going to slow that growth from going from 3 to 12 to 36 and so on and so forth. And some of the early indications were that those shutdown measures maybe were slowing the growth. So instead of, if you're drawing a line on a graph going this way, it's maybe going this way, but it's still going up. So again, it's a little too early to tell. Although it feels like we've been in for quite a while, particularly someone like me with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old at home. It does feel like we've been working from home for a long time, but it's really not long enough for us to know if there's been any comprehensive effect yet. So New Rochelle and beyond now, the one thing that New Rochelle had a little promising aspect was that they did get that jump start with that containment area. And although it was the epicenter, although it was where all those initial cases were tracked from, the numbers are now trending by population. For example, Yonkers has the most cases in Westchester. That's by far the most populous area here. New Rochelle second, but by a large margin, it's number 2, which is what it should be because it's less than half the size of Yonkers, really.
Has the number of cases branched out in kind of a circular, kind of up-the-line fashion from south to north in Westchester?
Well, yes, but something to keep in mind is most of the population centers in Westchester County are in the southern part of the county. So, and when I say southern part of the county, I mean from I-287 south. I mean, obviously, Yonkers is the most populous city in Westchester County. New Rochelle has about 80,000 residents, give or take. Mount Vernon is behind that. Those are all kind of clustered on the bottom of the county next to New York City. And again, those population centers are the ones that are trending higher.
Does it seem like the most amount of cases, and based upon what you're saying, this seems to be they seem to be in more densely populated areas?
Yes, and that would make sense with something, what scientific experts have been saying even before the outbreak hit the United States, which is that it's highly contagious. So, and that's why the social distancing measures have really been imposed, which is the idea that, like, if you're exposed to somebody, you have such a high risk of contracting it, whether you're going to get severely ill or not. So it makes sense that you see a place like Yonkers or New York City, where the number of cases is going to be so much higher than a place that's maybe a little more sparsely populated.
Westchester Talk Radio, Isolation Therapy Series. John Marino here, joined by Mark Lungariello, Aloha.com, Journal News, longtime veteran reporter. He knows the county better than anybody else. Mark, I was at a shopping grocery store. I was about to say the name. I'm not going to say it. At a grocery in the county last week. And the line I saw just kind of snaked around to the cashiers around all the different aisles. The cashiers had no protection on. Had to be a couple of hundred people in the store, and I was shocked. Are we practicing social distancing the way we should?
It's tough for me to answer that as a blanket statement, but there's certainly a percentage of us, let's say, that are not following it. I don't know that it's all defiance or lack of controls. Sometimes I just think it's, this is how we've lived our lives for, forever. And now suddenly someone says, when you walk into a grocery store, make sure that you stay at least 6 feet apart from someone in front of you. It's just instinctually not what you would do. And, you're used to going into a grocery store and traffic going both ways in the aisles. You can't keep 6 feet between you if the traffic is moving both ways in the aisles. And again, now they're recommending to put face masks on and to wear even makeshift masks to kind of try to reduce the spread. But it's dangerous. And, we've reduced so many of our, daily routines to we're working from home. Restaurants and bars are takeout and delivery only. But the grocery store is one thing that, you still kind of need to do. And I don't think that as a rule, we've all come around to this yet. It's a learning process. Unfortunately, we don't have much of a learning curve here. You kind of have to get on board with this very quickly if it's going to be effective, or we're going to see some more restrictions on social distancing.
Final 90 seconds or so with Mark Lungariello, Aloha.com, Journal News. Mark, how do our county leaders and leaders locally look at this now? Do you get the impression from those you've spoken to that maybe soon we can flatten this curve and head in the right direction and get back to some kind of sense of normal?
I think for those that are being realistic, they know that this is probably the most profound economic downturn that we're going to see, at least, in the last 100 years in our lifetimes and everything, because everything is shut down. It's so comprehensive across the board. But they also understand, that this is a huge public safety risk. If that curve is flattened out, I don't know that we're going to be able to get, it's not like I've heard the expression that you just flick the switch on and turn the economy back on. It's not going to be that simple. And I think that county leaders, County Executive George Latimer, local leaders as well, they understand that's not going to work, but they're hoping that there could at least, if not flick a light switch on, maybe light a few matches around the room and to start getting some people back to work if they've recovered from the virus, for example, or if there's some breakthroughs for us to better understand how the virus works and affects people.
Mark Lungariello, Aloha.com, Journal News. We thank you. Great to be back with you again and hope to have you back with us soon on Westchester Talk Radio.
Sure thing, John. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Stay home. Stay safe.
You too.
By the way, you've gotten to familiarize yourself with the two kids, 4-year-old and 2-year-old, right? Their names are? Now that's okay. You know them though, right?
Yes, they climb
now
on
you do,
the
right?
jungle gym while I'm interviewing people and everything. So
maybe they can do some research for you, right?
Right, exactly.
While we're all tucked away at home. Mark Lungariello, thank you. I'm John Marino. We are Westchester Talk Radio, Isolation Therapy, our series here, produced by Shark Media, sponsored by Entergy, the Indian Point Energy Center, White Plains Hospital, Wartburg Home Health and Rehabilitative Care, Michael Labriola Landscaping Design and Construction, Michael Labriola, their last name, the first name, in landscaping, and by Durante Rentals. We are Westchester Talk Radio at westchestertalkradio.com, all one word.